Good. Welcome everybody to the Galigeo 2017 user conference. Today I will speak about art and location intelligence. Apparently two separate subjects, but you'll see that it's not, that it's possible to link the two. So, before I start, thank you to all our guests. Thank you for coming today. We exist thanks to you, because you order software from us, because you renew maintenance from us, because you are always asking questions from us. And so your choice, I believe, is perennial. You've chosen to work with our products, and we intend to continue to exist for a long time still. Our business, we've been in business since 2001, and there is intent to continue. So innovation is in our genes. Everything we will talk about today is about how our products are evolving and how our clients are using them. So the agenda has valuable client and partner testimonials today. You will see how that follows up. Location intelligence. Last year at the same time, at our 2016 user conference, I spoke of the beginning of business intelligence and maps. Yeah, this is my historic interpretation. I believe Napoleon invented a form of business intelligence with something that it was called fichisme at the time. And I took, in a very rapid overview, I took you from Napoleon to the Cold War. Today we're going to talk about data visualization and analytics in the 17th century. So it's a bit original. You'll see how I'll bring you into that subject. It begins with the Dutch Golden Age. In the 17th century, the United Provinces, that was the name of the Dutch Republic at the time. It didn't exist as of today, as we know it today. These were 17 united provinces, and they were an economic world power, the biggest power, I believe, at that time. 10,000 vessels and 160,000 sailors that represented 3/4 of the European fleet, naval fleet. It's enormous. It was the first globalization. It was a time where spices were being traded, cloth, wine, porcelain. And a very important subject for today's presentation is that at the time the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, which is the oldest one in the world, sees in 1602 the IPO, yes, the IPO, the introductory pricing offer for the Dutch East India Company, which is the first capitalist multinational company in the world. It had, at the time of its ending in 1788, 150,000 employees. Just imagine how big that is today. The largest multinationals have that many people, and without IT, without computers, it's almost impossible to run them. But at the time, it was being run. And just to give you a sense of proportion, the second largest fleet was the English fleet, the second largest East India Company, because there were several of them, with French and the English, was only 20% of the of VOC. So the Dutch were rich, they were trained, they were cultivated, and they had a flourishing bourgeoisie. At the time also, this United Provinces, the union of these provinces, was at war against Spanish domination. That is almost a historical map of the 17 United Provinces I spoke of. It went from the middle of Belgium up to the north in the Frieslands, which are these islands. The Dutch Golden Age is known to most people thanks to Rembrandt. Rembrandt, who lived from 1606 to 1669. He produced 400 paintings, 300 engravings, and 300 drawings. About 1,000 pieces of art, which was an industrial production. And that is thanks to his workshops and students. So who did a lot of preparatory work for him to be able to paint. He lived a very affluent life, but died in ruin. And one of his most famous paintings is The Night Watch. It's 5 wide and 4 high in height, meters. And this is the most known painting, a monumental painting at the Rijksmuseum in Holland. It was made in 1642, and at the time was very poorly accepted by his clients, who are almost invisible and very dark in the background. You see 2 main people in the front and the profile of his wife here in the back. The classic representation of that time, of the important people, of the guilds of that time, were this kind, where everybody had sort of a spotlight on the face, which wasn't very realistic, although this was very realistic with clear-obscure effects. Now, another one, also very well known, is Vermeer, Johannes Vermeer. From 1632 to 1675, he made 45 paintings maximum. He was a craftsman painter. He mixed his own pigments and oils to make his own paint. And he had a very modest living and died ruined. And his life was in contrast. His personal life was in significant contrast with his peaceful scenes of the paintings. This is a very nice, peaceful scene. He had 15 children running around the house at the time, of which unfortunately 4 died very early in their lives. So Vermeer, very important painter. And you'll see the relationship with maps right here. In December of 2016, I visited the Rijksmuseum, and I fell in love with the woman in blue reading a letter. It was made in around 1662. This woman is reading clearly a letter. We don't know from her expression what news are in the letter. We know from her profile that she's pregnant. The question is, what does the letter say? Vermeer gives us a clue to what's going on, because he's painted this map in the back, and it clearly invokes the fact that he is a merchant. He's probably a sailor. He's out, and the question is, this letter is probably from him. When he will be back, and does he know that she's pregnant? At the time, 1 of 10 ships never made it back, so it was a dangerous trip. The map back here is not a fake map; it's a map from Willem Blauw, who was the official cartographer of the East Indies Company, VOC. The maps were used by Vermeer and his peers of the time as windows into the world, like paintings. They speak for a nation of sailors and merchants, in the case of Holland. They introduce faraway places in Amsterdam, bourgeois, and cozy homes. They accompany scientific, philosophical, and humanist renewal of the time. Remember that René Descartes at the time had fled France, and this philosopher was a refugee at the time in Amsterdam. These maps express richness, power, growth, etc. The same map here in a woman reading a letter, and this is reproduced in The Soldier with Laughing Young Woman. It is exactly the same map. It's the Berkenrode map, that was first edited in 1620. And to understand these maps, you need to shift them. You need to have a pivot to the left so that the north is up. As normally represented, the north is to the right. It wasn't a standard, the north on the upper side was not a pattern, a solid pattern at the time. So you see also a chromatic inversion, ground in blue and the sea in brown. And by doing this left pivot, then you find that it represents the Dutch territories. Another one is Woman with Water Pitcher. It's a map made by Allert, a Dutch cartographer, around 1650, 71. It's not very clear when, but you see here that he reproduced this with high fidelity. Again, the north is pointing right, so we need to turn this left in order to find the same map in the painting. So Vermeer painted exactly what he saw. He was not doing fake maps. He was taking a very serious approach to maps. This case here is the Geographer, again edited by William Blow map. And it represents the routes of the East Indies companies. We clearly see a European map, the profile, the contour of Europe and Northern Africa. The landmarks were not very clear inside the land, but for the ships, it was very clear. All the obstacles were represented. In total, 9 paintings out of 45 from Vermeer have maps. The Art of Painting, here in the back. The Love Letter here on the side is a bit dark, but for those who can see the original will find it right here. The Astronomer, who has a globe, in this case is about the sky. The Lady with the Lute, with a map of Europe and Northern Africa. And then the Allegory of Faith with a globe on which Marie Magdalene has his foot on, her foot on, to represent faith on earth. The conclusions that we can take out of this is that the value of maps go beyond their intrinsic use. The intrinsic use at the time was war, navigation, and territorial definitions. Vermeer and his peers of the time practiced a form of visualization, the only one available at the time. There were no pictures, no movies at the time, so it was impossible to do otherwise, so it was in the paintings, through paintings. And he invites analytics. He invokes, through these maps, richness, knowledge, faith, and power. Now, I say that these are the same KPIs that our clients, from which our clients extract value when they use our products. So, my ending statement here is that you too can be a Vermeer. We give you the products to do the artwork, the professional masterpiece work that Vermeer did at the time. Thank you very much.